Hello, welcome to Goonies RC. This is going to be a rebuild of my camera car Range Rover boom. It was a nice idea, but it didn't really work. In practice, the counterweights and the camera made it heavy and unusable. So let's fix this with a Top Gear-esque camera car. So this is a Russian arm. It's designed to have a camera here, and this boom can then be raised and lowered and rotated up to 360 degrees, which this makes the camera very smooth in drive-in shots, action shots, and it makes it great for Hollywood to use. Unfortunately, in scale, not the case. The size of the camera I had and the amount of counterbalance required made the car very unstable. The action of the actual boom is smooth, but as you've just seen, the weight, if the power gets cut off, is massively unstable and the car just wobbles about. Even when it's all powered up, the car hits the slightest bump, the whole rig does shake. With this in mind, let's remove this boom and take it out of the turntable. I've already removed the screws, so now I can just lift it off the turntable. Then the turntable is next, and it's just one screw to remove it. So the plan is to cut this back open, have the bottom fold down and the glass fold up, and then we can get a cameraman. He can sit in the car and the gimbal camera will be next to him and it'll look like he's controlling it, while I can then video the models at all the local meets. The camera should fit here nicely and face backwards, so hopefully it'll all fit nice. So let's strip it down. I've speeded it up so you don't have to watch long strip downs. What I'll do is I'll slow it down when I want to explain something to you, and then speed it back up, and that way we can see what's going on and when it's going on. Another reason for this strip down is it had 3 ACs for the boom and the drive. The new build will only require 1, so that's less wiring. I'm keeping things tidy, keeping all the screws, so when we rebuild it we still have them. The glass is a pain, as it's already damaged and I'm trying to get it out without destroying it. The old tailgate was brittle and broken into little pieces, so I had to make sure I got all the small pieces out of these bits here. The plan now is to go to the Dremel tool and cut the whole of the back out and make it look like it's open. So over to the Dremel bench. So I deliberately set my rotary tool really slow. This plastic's quite soft and sometimes it does tend to grab, so setting the rotary tool really slow means that the rotary tool stops rather than digs in and then grinds off bits I don't want. It's an easier way to cut things out and it makes it more precise. So there you go, it's all open. And then now we can place the lower tailgate as if it's in the down position, and then the camera can face backwards and the the cameraman can see out of there. Cool. Just got to fill these two holes here, this hole, and then I'm going to make a roof rack to fill the whole area, just to make it look cool, and that'll be that done. So now there's going to be lots of sanding on this part and on the back here to make it fit nice. So I'm just marking up on the interior where I need to cut so it matches the back there. So I'm going to remove the interior and then go back to the Dremel and cut this area out here. Okay, so I've managed to strip it down. I've removed all the parts. As you've seen, I've used a little Dremel tool to cut the old back out. Also cut the back out on the interior. The next thing to do is try and level all this area out here so that the camera can slide in with the little man sat next to him, so it looks like a proper camera, and make sure that's all secure, and also make sure that this fits in here nicely. Put it back in a second. I'm going to sit in there a second, hold on, we'll get it sorted. That's it. So in the back there, what will end up happening is the boot lid I'll glue back in so it looks like it's down all the time. Probably in a bit further than that actually, probably right there. Yeah, right there. So it's now onto the building of this part here, which I'll get cracking with. Got various bits of plastic card. We'll try with that first. If not, I might have to design something, and rather than make it up as I go along, actually follow a plan. What I'm going to do is make this bit here, I think, level with this bit once I've glued this on. So the first thing is to glue this back onto this, get rid of all the mounting supports out of the way, glue a bit of plastic card on to make all this flat, and so it can sit on the back there. Right, so I've cleaned up the back of the rear boot lid, the bottom one. That can be worked out where I want to put this on here, and then I'll fill this in so it's all flat from that side. So I'll do a few measurements now. I might have to go and do some reference photographs, because the curve of the back of the car there, if that was supposed to be the boot lid down, it's quite a curve on that, and I think it's quite a flat edge normally. So I'll go and do some research and come back. So here's a lesson in do your research before you start altering things. This is a Range Rover Sport. I've owned a Range Rover, but never a Range Rover Sport, and I just assumed, without looking, that it had a split tailgate. It hasn't. This part of the boot comes up to about here. I don't think that's going to suit the camera car look, so luckily there is a modification for the real car to bring it back down as a normal Range Rover bottom boot lid and top boot lid. So that's what I'm going to do. And also it'll make it much easier for me to do now, because obviously I've done this so far. But let's continue with that. It gives somewhere to sit. I'll make the glass open up as well. This bit here, the spoiler bit, that's going to have to come apart as well. That's going to have to be cut out and tilted up a bit. But that's alright, we can do that. So there you go. Make sure you look before you start altering stuff. So I'll get on and I'm going to cut this little bit out now as well, and I'll be right back. Right, so I've sanded that. The top boot lid can go back on. It'll be glued on at an angle, like that sort of thing. So the glass will be up out the way of the camera, and the bottom boot lid will be down here. So I'll get a bit of cracking on to see if I can get this all to fit nicely, and I'll get back to you. Doing a little bit of a test fit here. Right, so before I go, you see that's not going to match up yet, so I might just sand this little area here to get that to sit nicely in there. Get best contact I can. Lovely. Right, where's the marker pen gone? So I know where to scratch up on this bit. So hopefully on that you can see that it's a bit scratched up on this bit, so should give it a bit of key to glue onto this. Right, there's a couple of holes in this, so I'm just going to try and fill them first with a bit of super glue. Right, so hopefully that's going to look alright. Yeah, that'll look alright. There you go. Hold underneath. Yeah, happy with that. Right, put a bit of glue along here. This is where we see Jim super glue himself to the machine, to the part. Give a bit of pressure on there, a bit of glue on there. Right, we have to try and get a bit of glue in there so it looks a bit better. Oh, hold on. No, so that's all right, actually it's glued in. Don't think it's going anywhere. It's kept the curve of the glass. So once this is painted black, should be alright. Cool. Put that there now. That's the next bit. Actually, I'm going to leave this off for now because it's going to get snapped off if I keep mucking about with the body and the boot. But might tape it there just so I can get an idea of what's going on. So there's the boot open, that's what it'll look like. Might have a bit lower than that, so it's not so high up, but you get the idea there. Right, boot section. On the boot there's a hole where the number plate normally mounts. I think I'm going to use that to stick it on, put a little tab on through that so it sticks out this side, and then glue it to the back of this. That'll give me a starter anyway. So I'm going to leave it here now for this episode. In the next episode we'll be doing the interior. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.